Hi, welcome to the Catholic Corner. I'm Monsignor Walter Nolan. I'm here today with a dear friend, Marlene Lao-Collins. Marlene has just become the Executive Director of Catholic Charities in our diocese in February 2011, following the retirement of another good dear friend of ours, Fran Dolan. And Fran, as many of you probably know, led the agency for 23 years. Marlene is well known to many of us for all the work she's done around the diocese, and she's the former director of the social concerns for the New Jersey Catholic Conference and did a marvelous job there in sharing her instincts and her knowledge. And she advocated on issues affecting the state's most vulnerable. And that's where her heart is, and that's why Catholic Charities was such a beautiful, beautiful find for Marlene to share with us. You know, Catholic Charities has been a powerful presence in the Trenton Diocese, in the Trenton area, since its formal incorporation in 1913, and provides nearly 100,000 individuals and families each year with support related to housing, counseling, addiction treatment, and job training. Marvelous gift to our community. Its mission is to alleviate human suffering. This assumes even greater urgency for a growing number of people in the communities in our diocese. Its goal, to improve the quality of life for individuals and families, particularly those who are in greatest need, by renewing lives and especially restoring hope, which is a big, big value to all of us. Catholic Charities, as you know, is a nonprofit organization that gives to all people in need, regardless of religious affiliation or absence of any religious affiliation. Catholic Charities is just one of the great stars in our diocese, and certainly a very, very beautiful and productive agency for all of us. Marlene, welcome to the Catholic Corner.
Thank you.
God, it seems like I've known you for a long time. You do so much work for individuals and families, and your heart's always in that area.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Marvelous, marvelous, marvelous. You're a great saint.
Well, I'm not sure quite yet. I
Well,
still
we're
have
going to
much
make you
more
one.
to
We're going to
go.
make you one.
Yeah.
So, you know, I know you were working with the New Jersey Catholic Conference.
That's right.
You switched over to Catholic Charities.
Yes.
What motivated that, or why would you do that?
Oh, gosh. It was a long journey, but it was the mission of Catholic Charities. You described some of it in terms of working with the poor and the vulnerable and those most in need. So I've always been inspired by the mission of Catholic Charities. Also, and because of that, I've had a connection with Catholic Charities over a long period of time. In fact, I used to sit on the board, and I was actually the chair of the board early in 2000. So I feel this calling. I felt this pull towards this new step in my life to throw my hat in the ring and take a chance at leading this fabulous organization.
And your hat was scooped up quickly, let me tell you.
Well, we went through the interview process. There was an extensive interview process. There were others that did apply as well. I'm sure that were equally qualified, and I was selected. So I'm really very pleased that the bishop and the search committee has chose me, and it's a big responsibility. And I'm just looking forward to this long
Well, there might have been many hats, but there was one heart.
Yeah.
So the heart came through,
you.
which is a beautiful thing. What that is a hard process sometimes to be happy what you're doing and to know that God maybe calls you in a different direction or another direction and to fulfill it. You know, your heart is certainly with the Catholic Charity. What are some of the services that the Catholic Charities provides?
Sure.
And it is in all of our counties.
Yes. So we cover the 4 counties of the diocese: Monmouth, Ocean, Burlington, and Mercer. Specifically in Mercer County, we have a number of programs. And I'll just list them, and then I'll talk a little bit about what each of them do. So we have El Centro. We have Emergency and Community Services. We have Partners in Recovery, Family Growth, and Mobile Response and Stabilization. And those are, wow, incredible programs. So for example, El Centro, which is actually housed near Sacred Heart on Broad Street, provides services to Latino community in that area. In fact, I recall when they were first thinking about doing this program, and they did a survey in the area about what are the services that were needed. And so now, many years later, they have an array of services for the Latino community. They do ESL, parenting, gang prevention, they tutor children, they do marriage counseling, support groups, just an array of services. It's wonderful. You walk in there, it's where the convent used to be, and it's very homey and very welcoming. The staff is very welcoming. Emergency and Community Services is the program that I think probably people know us for the most, because one of the things that they do is they provide food, clothing, assistance, rental assistance, for heat as well, but it goes beyond that in that particular service area. We also provide case management, which is sort of a counseling to help people. You know, we just don't want to give you a bag of food, but we also want to help people realize their full potential. And that's true across the board in all these programs. So they direct them to a network of services to be able to do that. And there's also within that area, service area, housing programs, Hope 6 and Housing Now, that helps people move into permanent housing. And they wrap around services, because sometimes these are individuals that are the lowest income with some of the most complicated issues in their lives. But with the right combination of counseling and coaching, they're able to move on and do better. The Partners in Recovery addresses the needs of, they do counseling for people who are affected by substance abuse and mental illness, which is a very critical situation. And sometimes people come to that program. It's almost like the last hope. I've talked actually to a few consumers from that program, and what a wonderful process. And to see the end results of people who came with this desperate need and now are making contributions to society, even advocates for themselves and for others. The other program, well, Family Growth and Mobilization. Well, Family Growth addresses the needs for adults that have, and children that have been abused and neglected. And Mobile Response and Stabilization is a really interesting program. It's around the clock, and this is 24/7, and that's what they tell me. It's 24/7. And it addresses a unique group of adolescents that are experiencing crises in their lives, whether it's mental illness and situations. I mean, I can only imagine a family, a parent, having this situation at home, because we all want our children to thrive and be successful, and not knowing what to do. They can call Mobile Response. Mobile Response is there, and they will help this family address that unique need for that adolescent, and in many cases prevents that child from having to go to a psychiatric hospital, for example. Imagine that. That is so wonderful. And they continue to do the counseling that is necessary for this family to move forward and to maintain stability. So those are just some of the programs in Mercer County, that we have. Yes.
Now, the other counties similar, or the other counties have different needs, or do you require some other different things in other counties?
So in some of the counties, we have domestic violence programs, for example, in Burlington and in Ocean. We have a lot of behavioral health programs dealing with addressing the needs of individuals with mental illnesses in Monmouth as well. We have 2 new programs that we got the support. One, we got the support of Mercer County Addiction Services to address the needs of veterans and the National Guard. And our folks got specialized training to deal with individuals that are coming home that have substance abuse concerns and mental illness. And I just think it's fabulous. I mean, these are individuals that are sacrificing their lives for our freedom. The other one is Linkages, which is in Monmouth County. That's a transitional housing program for families who would otherwise be homeless. And the wonderful thing about that program is it's not permanent for them, but they receive training. The moms receive training, job training, and they stay there for a period of time, and then they move out to permanent housing and to jobs. And so it's a really nice program. So we have an array of
So all
services.
of the programs, and it sounds so beautiful, all of the programs center on the dignity of the human person, and you try to bring that dignity out. And like every one of us, every once in a while you need a little hand to get the motors going again. But you're always willing to not just, as you said, give the food or give whatever it is. It's to do that, but to say, okay, now we can help grow and be productive and be God's sons and daughters, and we all become part of the family.
Yes, absolutely. And yes, absolutely.
How about are there some new programs that either you're instituting or somehow have come about? And I also would wonder, probably some of the programs get difficult. Some of the funding being cut back that you might normally get somewheres?
Sure. Well, I mentioned the two newest programs, for example, Linkages out in Monmouth and the Veterans Intervention Program. And, I think that you talk about cutting, right, and the challenges really that nonprofits are facing now. And not just Catholic Charities, but across the board. So while we have we have at least two new programs, across the board, nonprofits and Catholic Charities in particular is experiencing retrenchment in some other areas that we had been providing services for. So reduction in government funding, and sometimes this is on top of over a period of time where we haven't really been funded at the level that we need to be. So we've always had to cover the costs for those programs out of our unrestricted dollars. And so it becomes even more challenging because when you get your funding and it never really covers your costs, and we have to kind of close that gap. But I think that even though we have those challenges, Catholic Charities is really positioned in a good place to weather that storm. We've over time have made changes, whether it's streamlining programs, regretfully in some cases the last 2 years reduction in staff, really focusing on what is it that we do really well and continue to do it well. So, I mean, those are the kinds of things that we try to do to minimize the impact.
It's so nice to hear that one of your new programs has to do with veterans.
Yes.
Having put a little bit of time in that military years and years ago.
There you go.
You just realize, and I don't know if folks realize as much, what the fellas coming back need, the support of family. It's a big adjustment going and coming back, and some of them certainly need the counseling and the support, just the friendship,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Beside the financial challenges, other challenges, I guess the population is growing or changing.
Yeah, so on top of the, as you mentioned, I formerly was with the Catholic Conference, and so I did a lot of advocacy around this issue. And I see it now from the service perspective, right? There has been, over the last 2 to 3 years, especially when the economy got really bad, a growing number, exponentially growing number of people coming to us for help, and even individuals that had never come to us, and in some cases, individuals that actually donated to us. So that's a challenge, because we find ourselves, because we believe that our mission is a sacred mission, and because we find ourselves challenged to turn people away.
That hurts.
It does. And in some cases, we've had to say we can't, and then we look for other avenues for those individuals when we can. But fortunately, for the most part, we're able to address some of the concerns. But there are instances where it really does hurt. Staff come back to me
Yeah,
and share that.
sure. And you know what? It would just as sort of a little bit of an outsider, looking at a lot of these issues, it seems to me, Marlene, that not only is it a generation that has been working and now maybe can't find jobs. I worry about the young generation just getting out of school, and it seems like many of them are getting frustrated because I imagine sometimes when you're 21, 22, you're 21, 22, you can survive. But then you're going to be 25 and 26 and 27, you're going to be in love, want to get married and, and start families. And sometimes it gets hard for them because it just, the availability of work is not available for them.
Yeah.
Or
We have to have hope.
yeah.
That's what we offer. And what I would suggest for individuals like that maybe don't have a job and they're young people, find a volunteer. I know that money is important, but you want to continue to build on your talents and your skills.
Want to be productive.
Be productive. Don't get into the rut because there is always hope. And sometimes through that volunteering, there are networks that we connect with. And maybe we find a purpose also, a vocation. So don't give up.
Maybe God even brings out another talent that you didn't think you had.
Absolutely. Look to Catholic Charities to volunteer.
I know. One of the most, I don't say most beautiful thing you do, but I know that you have an annual fundraiser which supports your ability to do so much of that work, and it's the Guardian Angel Dinner Dance.
Yes.
And I know I've always, I don't know how many I've gone to, but it's just, it's a beautiful thing. Can you talk about that for us?
Well, yes, Monsignor. The Guardian Angel Dinner Dance is a fabulous event, and each year it gives us the opportunity to recognize a number of people that really have provided wonderful service to their community and to the mission of Catholic Charities. And it's also an event that supports the programs of Catholic Charities. As I mentioned, with the reductions in government funding, these kinds of events are really helpful to us. So it is we have many supporters that come. It's a great fun. We have an auction, silent auction. So it's a lot of fun as well. Good place to network.
I actually have home an item that I got at the silent auction at one of the Guardian Angel Dinner Dances. Right. And it was really interesting because I love nautical things, and it was actually a carving of something nautical. And I think I put down a few cents, and somebody came along and said, "Oh, you want that, Monsignor?" I said, "No, we got to get the auction going here." So, but you know what I always love about it? Besides bringing all the people together that volunteer, and you can see the excitement and how it builds up, and how you honor people, organizations or individual people or from different dioceses, different counties. But then you always honor somebody who has received some assistance and now is given assistance back and tells their story.
Oh, yes.
And I tell you, I go home with a tear, and every once in a while I make a note and say, well, that's going to be part of my homily. Let the people know about all of this.
A teaching moment.
It's just, isn't it a beautiful thing?
It is.
And you can see how sincere and how thankful they are that they've been helped and now they want to help.
It is.
It's marvelous.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, absolutely. I've actually had an opportunity to interact with some of the individuals that we've helped. As I come into Catholic Charities, although not fresh, but I want to know more about how we help people, and I want to hear their stories, and I want to connect to their stories so that I can pass that on and share it.
Because they're really Christ moments, God moments, love moments.
Oh,
it's just a great thing.
It gives me great hope.
I know there are lots of nonprofit organizations, in New Jersey. In fact, someone once said there were like 30,000 or something.
30,000.
That's a lot.
Amazing?
It is amazing to me. Yeah, I guess you don't think about that. But what is it about Catholic Charities? And we've talked about it already almost.
Sure.
But
yeah.
There's something unique about it.
I think that one is our mission that is inspired by Scripture. And our folks understand that. They get that. They understand that it's not a career, not just a job. It is really a vocation and a sacred mission. And that creates a whole different culture within an organization. It also dictates or directs how we treat people that come to our doors, how we treat each other. And actually, when I've talked to individuals that we've helped, they themselves talk about how spiritual it felt. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're all preaching, although I would love for us to do that. But they feel it because we respect their dignity as a human person.
I was just thinking of that when you were talking.
It's,
that it's
you
the
know,
dignity.
one of the tenets of our Catholic social teaching is the human dignity. We are created in the image and likeness of God. And people get it, And so as I go and meet our staff, I remind them of that. I remind them of that great mission that we have. And that just that single teaching, that if we continue to hold on to that and allow it to grow within our programs and within ourselves, that we're going to succeed.
It's just a beautiful thing. I like you mentioned before, El Centro.
Yes.
And I think Bobby Hernandez, kind of guides it and does a lot of work. And I knew Bobby when I was teaching in high school, and he was a
little kid.
Well, he wasn't a little kid; he was a pretty big kid. In fact, he played basketball for us. But just to see how he has captured, and others have captured.
Yes.
Not just Bobby, but the whole spirit of faith and love and dignity, yes. and I want to share it with so many others. Why would you say, if someone comes up to you and says, Marlene, I like to support, but why would individuals or organizations want to support Catholic Charities when there's other ways or other corporations, I guess, that they could give their money to?
Well, I talked a little bit about the mission and all, and I think that sort of sets us apart from other organizations. But we also are an organization that is very lean. From a business perspective, 90% of our funding goes to direct services, where up to 10% is administrative costs. So we really try to be good stewards of our resources. And that's very important. It's important to me. It's important to the organization. We are results oriented from the stories that you've heard. And it's a good investment, I think, because it's a social investment. Most companies, I believe, would want to be connected with an organization that can transform lives. Our tagline is renewing lives, bringing hope. So they have an opportunity to be able to do that, to make that social investment and have a return.
What's so beautiful? I know the world has a lot of problems in it, but gosh, there's so many good people. And there's so many people that want to help and want to do things and want to raise up communities or cities or whatever it happens to be. So it's gratifying to know that there are folks out there that are really, really God-centered, human-centered, and we are brothers and sisters. Now tell me, this is you're in somewhat the new director. What are your goals and plans, and what's on your mind? I said, oh boy, I can't wait to get this going.
Oh boy. Speaking of oh boy, I can't. Well, right now, as you said, I'm a new director. So my immediate goal is to get out to all the programs and to talk to staff, to talk to consumers, to talk to some key people out in the community, because I want to make those connections. Your talent, your time, and your resources, so that we can continue to do what we do so well. And I think at some point down the road, we also have to consider from a business perspective, do we continue to operate in the same way, in the same fashion? Are there opportunities now to reform, to change things a little differently? And I've had lots of conversations with folks, and it seems like, yeah, things are changing a little bit. For example, I'll give you one example. Facebook, the whole social media.
Yes.
Everybody's on Facebook. So they're like just chomping at the bits to do more around that. We have a Facebook page, but it hasn't really gone out there viral, as so to speak. So I think using social media is going to be really important, looking at the necessary reforms to continue to make our organization relevant and competitive.
And I would imagine that the younger generation, that's their style of communicating.
Oh,
and
social
that's their,
media?
you
Oh,
know,
good grief,
so
yes.
that's how we have to draw them in. And that's,
Yes. Yes.
maybe we all have to learn a little bit.
But it's not just the young folks, let me tell you.
Yeah, I guess it's so true. Who are the people that we help? I guess everybody. I mean, there's no, we don't turn anybody away, do you?
We offer services to anyone, regardless of faith, gender. We generally provide services to people with low income, but just about anyone that needs, especially in behavioral health. So it's an array of people that we provide services.
What kind of things can people volunteer for?
Oh, well, we have a number of programs in the 4 counties. One, they can join the county board, and through the county board, they can help with some of these activities that help support some of those programs. We have, or there are particular programs, like for example, El Centro, or there's a program out at Lakewood for tutoring. You know, maybe if you have an accounting degree, to do tax returns. You know, so there are training, computer training, ESL. There are just a number of different things that if they go on our website, Catholic Charities Trenton, they Google that, they can take a look and see where they might want to fit and give us a call.
So there are certain talents also that you might be interested in.
Oh, absolutely. Now, I don't know that we list those talents, but if we will take a warm body, so to speak, they can help us in the pantry, food pantries. Absolutely, yes.
So there's lots of different ways that people can.
Yeah.
I know that you did mention that 90% of the revenue is directed towards helping people,
Right.
and that's and you've been rated even by Forbes and the Chronicle of Philanthropy and the NJBIS, so the BIZ. So so you have some people that are really telling us that you do a great job and you do steward the abilities. Marlene, thank you. Keep all the good work and the blessings, and you know, all of our love and support is with you.
Thank you.
For more information, please, about Catholic Charities, you can go to the website at www.catholiccharities.trenton.org. Let me say that again, catholiccharities.trenton.org, or call 1-800-360-7711. Bless you, and be with us. Volunteer.
Thank you.
Very nice. Very, very nice.